Megan and I just got back from another trip to Maui where we did some pretty epic adventures. I'm talking waterfall rappelling, zip lining, snorkeling molokini, hiking 11 miles through a volcanic crater, and much more. And so in this video, I'm going to break down my top 10 must-do adventures, tours, and excursions on Maui. And if you haven't seen my first Maui video of the top 10 things to do here, please go ahead and give that a watch. But enough rambling, let's get rappelling. And not just any rappelling, waterfall rappelling. I didn't even know this was a thing until we did a tour with Rappel Maui, and this might just be my new favorite experience I've ever had in Maui. From the region, to the guides, to just the general thrill of this experience, it had it all. First off, you're in the lush jungle of northeast Maui, about 30 minutes into the road to Hana at the Garden of Eden Arboretum. And it was actually raining on our tour, which just made it feel magical. So our group started off learning how to rappel on a beginner cliff, which Megan hadn't rappelled before, but when her turn came, it was clear she was comfortable on the rope and with the act of rappelling. So we quickly moved on to the next rappel, where we were beside this gorgeous waterfall, which when we actually got to the end of the rappel, we literally just rappelled right off the end of the rope into the pool below, which was a pretty fun dismount.
Okay, we are 2 out of the 3 waterfall rappels in. I guess the first one was kind of a dry rappel. This is the first waterfall rappel, but we have one more rappel. But I can confidently say this is like the sickest adventure, probably the most adrenaline I felt on this trip. Ton of fun. Oh, I can't wait for the next one.
And then we continued down the riverbed where we rappelled literally inside of a waterfall, which honestly, these videos just don't show how crazy fun this was and how intense this was. I was actually quite surprised. Such a fun experience, an intimate group setting in Maui's jungle. You just aren't gonna get this experience anywhere else. Come and rappel Maui. Up next is another epic experience, ziplining at Kapalua Ziplines. Now, I've done a few zipline tours in Maui, but let me just say, Kapalua is the one that I remember because I can't forget this view. It truly is breathtaking up here. This is your view throughout your tour while on the course. You are constantly reminded of just where you are. Also, Kapalua Ziplines is pretty centrally located to where many people stay in Maui, which makes it easily accessible and a must-do tour. Now, Megan and I did the 6-line tour, which was absolutely worth it because you get to zip 6 lines across 8,000 feet, including zipping their longest line, which is over half a mile long. Just goes on forever. You also get to go on this panoramic suspension bridge, and it's just a great experience all around. And let me just say, the ziplining is awesome and obviously the main feature of this tour, and you will get lost in that. But the stars of the show really are the guides. Such good people, they make it really fun, super comfortable if you've never done it before. You can just tell this is a family of adventurers and they want to give you the best zipline experience possible, and I think they deliver. But enough of these land excursions, it's about time we get into the ocean. We are in Hawaii after all, and if you watched my last video, you know that snorkeling is a top priority for me, and while there's great snorkeling literally feet off the shores in Maui that is free to enjoy, my favorite place being Honolulu Bay, if you are looking for more of an excursion or a half-day experience, there is a partially submerged, uninhabited, crescent-shaped volcanic crater about 3 miles off the shores of Maui called Molokini, and you can take a boat out to this strange island and snorkel it. And my brother-in-law and I did just that. We boarded the Four Winds Maui catamaran at Maalaea Harbor at 7:30 in the morning. They served us breakfast. We bombed out to Molokini.
Oh my goodness, we just got to Molokini. It is time to snorkel. The water's so blue. Let's get in the water.
The snorkel was pretty good. We didn't see anything out of the ordinary, and we were limited laterally as we were sharing with a ton of other boats, so we had to kind of stay in our lane, but it was a relaxing few hours. They also served us lunch and free adult beverages, which was very nice, and we cruised back to the harbor around 12:30. All in all, great tour and really cool to see Molokini, such a wild and unique island, up close.
Thank you
for joining us. Enjoy your vacation.
That was so fun and a perfect way to start the day, snorkeling in Molokini.
Moving on to an excursion that is literally the opposite of relaxing and snorkeling at Molokini, but something you're gonna have to put a ton of effort into, but you need to do at least once on Maui, is hiking the 11-mile sliding sands trail through Haleakala Crater. This is a barren and wild place, and probably the place you will find the most peace on Maui as you really get away from the crowds. But here's what I recommend. Start early, like go watch the sunrise at 5:30 in the morning. It's absolutely epic, and then start your hike. But just something to note, in order to enter Haleakala National Park before 7 a.m. to catch sunrise will require a permit, which you can get 72 hours before your hike. It will also require some logistics because this is a point A to point B hike, and you need to get a ride between point A to point B, or vice versa. It's common to hitchhike like we did, parking at point B and hitching a ride up to the summit, and then hiking down. And as you can see by the light, we got a late start this time. I didn't listen to my own advice, I didn't get a permit, so I couldn't get in until 7 a.m. Lock the car, time to hitchhike to get to the summit before we make our way down. Hopefully, the car picks us up. Long story short, we did hitch a ride to the top, and we hiked from the summit down into the crater, which is just a Mars-like environment that, like, every 20 minutes or so I had to pinch myself and say to Megan, we're in Hawaii, because it just doesn't feel like it. Word of caution, pack a ton of sunscreen and more water than you think, because this hike is statistically rounded to the nearest integer, 0% shade. So look out. We both got sunburned, not too bad. At about mile 7, there is a little hiker hut. That's where we had some lunch and fueled up before the last 3 miles. It is pretty steep getting out of here. Well, it's actually not that steep. It is a lot of elevation gain, but it just seems to go on forever. Well, that was an epic hike. 11 miles through the crater, up and out of the crater. Absolutely insane. Lots of water, lots of sunscreen. Carry on. And from the mountain to the sea we shall go, and a much more relaxing alternative to hiking the Sliding Sands Trail, because this next adventure is a 2-hour sunrise whale watching tour chartered by Pack Whale Eco Adventures out of Ma'alaya Harbor. Now on Maui, it is peak season between December and May to see kohola or humpback whales. So if you're visiting Maui during this time, I cannot recommend this tour enough. Like, this is probably the top tour to do during this time, especially if you've never been on a whale watching tour. There's just no better place or time to go see some whales on Maui. It was just super cool, like cooler than I was expecting. Plus, it's just another great sunrise activity. Get out there before the sun really starts to shine down, get a jump on the day before everyone else is up, see a beautiful sunrise of Haleakala, but from the water. But seeing them up close and personal was just unforgettable, wild, and worth doing. Now, if you're still watching this but you haven't subscribed, click the like button, or checked out my affiliate links in the description, what are you doing? Help a friend out. This video took a ton of time, and your support helps other people see this video, which in turn helps me. Let's get back to the video. Next up, we have the most iconic tourism adventure to do on Maui, and something I truly believe everyone needs to do at least once: drive the road to Hana. The road to Hana is narrow, long, and sketchy, but it's an incredible road that will take you by epic waterfalls, through dense jungles, across windswept wastelands, and along stunning coastlines. The road to Hana makes you feel like you were on another planet, and you kinda are. And to be very clear, doing the road to Hana is a full day adventure, like sunup to sundown if you're wanting to hit some of the major stops along the way, the PBY Trail, Waimoku Falls, Wailua Falls, Koki Beach, and more, because just driving the loop without stopping is going to take over 4 hours. But there are endless stops along the way, and I'll let you figure out those for yourself, but my must visit on the whole road to Hana is Waioka Pond, or Venus Pool. It is a short little trail that spits you out onto the Venus Pool, which is this area that just feels like an oasis. It's actually probably my favorite place on the whole island. It just feels like a slice of heaven. And if you like cliff jumping, this is the place for you. There is a small, medium, and large jump, which is definitely the main activity here besides just kind of relaxing and chilling, which not super fun to that. I sent a few gainers, enjoyed my time here, made some new friends. And yeah, this crazy dude was sending it from the big one. I'll have to do that on my next trip. Anyway, do not miss checking out Venus Pool when you drive the road to Hana. Now, this next excursion is for the thrill seekers who love getting outdoors, are okay getting a little dirty, are okay on narrow roads, but a little less sketchy than Hana. This is the ATV tour with Maui Off-Road Adventures, and this is Megan's favorite excursion on Maui. Megan just, I don't know what it is, she absolutely loves ripping around on ATVs, whether it's in between zipline routes, or in between blueberry picking sessions in remote Unalakleet, Alaska, or with Maui Off-Road Adventures in their 4-seater side-by-side ATVs that are just built for adventure. And the tour takes you high in the hills above Kapalua, while you will be riding through jungles, brush, farmland, other scenic terrain. I mean, many of these areas are only accessible by ATV, so you really have a chance to explore a side of Maui you have never seen before and few are ever granted access to. But be prepared to get dirty because you never know what you're going to get up here. Could be dry, could be raining, could be blazing hot, could be all three of those things in the span of about 10 minutes. Regardless, you will have a blast and you will never forget this adventure. Now, to wash off dirt from that adventure, let's head back down to the sea level to jump in the ocean in some beautiful beaches. Maui has insanely gorgeous beaches all over the island that are just waiting to be explored, but if you're in Maui, the move here is to go surfing. The Polynesians introduced surfing to Hawaii, where it exploded in popularity and really feels sort of like the birthplace of surfing if I don't say so myself. And I feel like if you're gonna come to Maui, you should experience this key aspect of the Hawaiian culture and surf at least once. And Maui is a great place to learn. There are a ton of schools to choose from, and as far as tours go, this is one of the more reasonably priced ones. Just do it. You just have to do it. But if you're experienced, you have your choice of waves, whether you're looking at surfing North Shore, West Maui, down in Kihei, out at Hana. There's just a ton of spots. I mean, it is an island. There's just so many different ways to choose from all around it.
And I mean, even if you come out here and don't catch any waves, you can't go wrong. I mean, look at the backdrop. Water's like freaking 80 degrees. It's beautiful.
Up next isn't a formal tour per se, but one that you need to partake in every day as you enjoy your stay at Maui. This is your food tour. This is one of the easiest ways to support local businesses and get a little closer to the culture of a new destination. Enjoying the local fare. Now, everyone has a different palate, but for me, as soon as I land in Maui, I need to go get poke from Foodland and get shave ice from Ululani's. Those are my staples, and also Hawaiian staples. But during your stay here, just try new things. There are a ton of food carts to choose from all over the island, which I think is the best way to really get authentic flavors.
East Maui chocolate. There's your fiver. Booyah. And there's my cacao pod. Let's go.
But it's also worth splurging on a fancy dinner out from one of the many notable locations. But on this last trip, I gained 2 new favorite spots, which both of them were in Paia. One is called Flatbread Company. Their wood-fired pizzas were just insanely good and lived up to the hype given this giant pizza oven in the middle of the restaurant. Their prices were fair, just a tasty pizza. And then just up the road from Flatbread Company is Toby's Poke and Shave Ice. Now, Megan and I got the poke, it was really good. We didn't try their shave ice, but many locals claim it is the best on the island. I don't think you can go wrong either way. Get poke, get shave ice, get both. Get out there and support local eateries. And next up, we have a unique and very family-friendly tour, the Surfing Goat Dairy Farm. This has become a novelty tourist activity that you just have to slot into your itinerary. Surfing Goat Dairy is Maui's largest commercial dairy farm at 120 milking goats. And by booking their evening chore and milking tour, you get a group tour hearing all about the aspects that go into running this farm. And you actually partake in the evening goat farming tasks, from feeding the goats to actually getting down and dirty and milking them. Literally, you will help Surfing Goat Dairy produce the island's most delicious goat cheese on this tour. It's pretty cool. Now, if you want to skip the chores and you're like, that's too much work for me, I just want the good stuff, you can do that. You can just come for the good stuff. I mean, look at these baby goats. You might as well check them out for free. Anyway, you can learn some general info, just kind of picking up some snippets here and there, ask your questions, but if you come, definitely buy some of their award-winning freshly made goat cheeses. You have to get the sample boat.
Absolutely smoked. So good.
And those are my top 10 tours, excursions, and adventures to do on Maui. If you want to see more of Maui, check out my top 10 places to visit and things to do video here. And if you want to support me, literally all I ask, just click that like button, click the subscribe button, turn on notifications. It really does help me out. And honestly, it helps you stay in the loop for when I post videos of adventures that Meg and I go on. With that being said, we'll see you in the next one. Mahalo nui loa.